I'm getting it on there. Okay, I need to find, where's my page one? My page one is, oh, there we are. There. Okay, everyone get that? Okay. Good evening. I would like to call to order the Monroe City Council regular business meeting of Tuesday, January 14th, 2025. The time is 7 o'clock. Ms. Wyckoff, would you please call the roll?
Thank you. Council members present and establishing a quorum are council members Fulcher, Beaumont, Hanford, Walker, Fisher, and Scarborough. Perfect,
thank you. Tonight's Pledge of Allegiance will be led by Councilmember Scarborough.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right, the first item of business tonight is public comments, and this is a limited opportunity for people to speak to the council during the council meeting. Pursuant to council rules of procedure, oral public comment is limited to in-person comment only and must comply with the standards set forth in the council rules. Comments are limited to 3 minutes. Information on where to send written comments is on tonight's agenda and on the screen. Yes, it is. And we will now begin public comment. Is there anybody signed up to do public comment tonight? All right. Is there anyone in the room who would like to do public comment tonight? All right, no takers, thank you. All right, so the next item on the agenda is the consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda? Councilmember Hanford?
I move to approve the consent agenda as listed.
Perfect, thank you. Is there
Second?
Second, all right, second by Scarborough. And a motion has been made by Councilmember Hanford and seconded by Councilmember Scarborough to approve the consent agenda. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And all those opposed, no. All right, the motion passes by a vote of, oh, and I also do that, so 6-0. Thank you. Okay. Next is unfinished business. First topic is 6.1 Ordinance 001-2025, which is a code cleanup phase 1 for Monroe Municipal Code Title 22, the Unified Development Regulations. Ms. Barr is going to do a presentation tonight.
Thank you, Councilmember Fulcher, and good evening, council members. Tonight, I am here before you to hopefully finish up the Phase 1 Code Cleanup Project. As you may recall, I've been here 2 times before, once with an introduction on the project and then the second time with the public hearing. This is the first time that the ordinance has been a part of your agenda packet. It was the first attachment in the packet. Since the public hearing, staff has identified 2 Scrivener's errors that involve clarification of language that have been updated. One was just removing the word applicable. As we were drafting the ordinance, it just became apparent that that word was no longer necessary for clarity. And then the second was adding a footnote onto one of our bulk standard tables. It was the same footnote that was added to all the bulk standard tables. This one just happened to fall on a page break in Word, so it wasn't noticed until I went to reformat it all into the ordinance. Additionally, you'll notice that chapters 2212 definitions and 2222 downtown commercial, the code cleanup items have been moved onto the updated chapters that came through as part of that more recent code update at the end of last year. Tonight, I am here respectfully asking council to waive the rules of procedures and allow for first and final reading of the ordinance. The proposed amendments have come before City Council several times with no public comment and no questions have been raised to date from council. The ordinance itself just simply took additional time to draft because of the formatting with all the changes being included in the body of that ordinance. The requested actions tonight are listed in your agenda bill, and if you have any questions, I'm happy to take those now. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Barr. Are there any questions for Councilmember Hanford?
Thank you. Thank you for the presentation, and I read through it previously. I was wondering, we don't usually waive rules of procedure unless there's some kind of a time crunch or possible legal issue or whatever, so I was wondering if that's the case. Also with Councilor Gamble gone as well, unless there's some reason to press it forward. I'm not a fan of waiving the rules tonight.
Sure. So the one time constraint that came up is one of the edits, or not the edits, the cleanup items is adding preschools into the mixed use zone. It was listed just as preschools with no permitted or conditional listed, and that going back and listening to old planning commission minutes was just a copy and paste error. It was meant to be in there and wasn't, and we do have one of the schools in town that is hoping to move forward with that preschool. They're ready to submit their application as soon as this code cleanup item is done, to move forward with adding an additional preschool here in town. So that would be the only time constraint.
Okay, thank you. With that knowledge, I'll move to waive the council rule of procedure requiring 2 readings of ordinances and allow adoption of an ordinance upon first reading.
There's a second, okay. So we have a motion has been made by Councilmember Hanford and seconded by Councilmember Beaumont to waive the council rules and procedure requiring 2 readings of ordinances and allow for adoption of an ordinance upon first reading. Is there any discussion? All right, if no discussion, then we will take the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And any opposed? All right, so the motion passes by a vote of 6-0. Is there a motion to approve the second motion for this item? Councilmember Hanford.
Move to adopt ordinance 001-2025, amending MMC Title 22, Unified Development Regulations, UDR, and MMC 5.48, licensing / zoning of sexually oriented businesses, providing for severability and establishing an effective date.
All right, a motion has been made by Councilmember Hanford and seconded by Councilmember Scarborough to adopt ordinance 001-2025, amending MMC Title 25 Unified Development Regulations and MMC 5.48 licensing, zoning of sexually oriented businesses, providing for severability and establishing an effective date. Do we have any discussion on the item? All right, I will call for the vote then. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those no. All right, we are at 6-0. The motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, the next item is new business 6.2, 2025 to 2029 strategic priorities and strategic plan. Mr. McCorkle is going to do a presentation on that.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem and Council. It's a very exciting night. I get to pretend to be Jody a little bit in my corner.
Good luck.
But excited for this brief little presentation. So the requested action for tonight on this item is just the formal adoption of the 2025 to 2029 strategic priorities and strategic plan. You might recall that the last time that this item was directly brought in front of council was at the April 30th meeting, in which council received the opportunity to review the preliminary plan and also provide feedback that provided some context for Mayor Thomas when he was going in to making his recommended budget throughout the late summer and then early fall. And all of that culminated to council finally adopting the budget, the mayor's recommended budget, in November of last year. Here I would like to note that, or I think it's important to note, that both the budget and strategic priorities and strategic plan both mutually inform one another. Items on the plan inform what items are going to be prioritized for funding in the budget, and then items that are included in the budget inform what is going to be feasible to include in the plan and also our timeline. So that April 30th meeting was really the opportunity for the mayor, or for council rather, to provide direction to the mayor in order to prepare that budget to make sure that those two documents are aligned. The real purpose of this meeting tonight is just ensuring some consistency between the budget and also the planning, the strategic plan and strategic priorities document. The budget has already been adopted, so this is mostly just ensuring consistency. With that said, after the adoption of the budget, mayor and staff updated the plan to make sure that these two documents were consistent with one another in terms of timeline and funding for projects. So tonight's item is really just a final adoption of the priorities and plan. Before we just jump into it, I will highlight some of the items that were added since council's last review in April 30th, just so they're not a surprise to anyone. Under access to parks and healthy waterways, we added develop a citywide urban forestry plan in 2025. We also added consider parks bond and levy during the 2027 and 2028 budget. That's occurring in 2026 and 2027, noting the failure of the city to pass a parks levy in last year. So that's going up for a reevaluation in 2026 and 2027 for the next biennial budget. Also, the downtown Monroe revitalization project, also known as the Festival Lot Master Plan, being slated for 2025. So that's that old Union Bank building where we're going to look at interim uses, how to develop that to achieve the community's long-term vision for that property. Under the next strategic priority item, supporting local businesses and products, we added the US 2 commercial and residential sub-area study, currently slated for 2026 and 2027. This is similar to the previous downtown study and simply just evaluates kind of where we are now in that area and also where we want to be and any necessary code changes that we're going to need to make in order to get to that final objective. Under building regional connections, the comprehensive plan climate change element, we have that work currently being done in 2028 and 2029. The city is currently required to adopt a climate change element in our comprehensive plan by 2029, I believe, so that's why that is slated there. Completing updates to the traffic impact fees in 2025, finalizing the master annexation interlocal agreement in 2025 in order to facilitate orderly transitions of projects and services from county to cities during times of annexation. And then another item is supporting mass transit options to regional transit centers all the way through 2025 to 2029. This was placed on the strategic plan in response to council feedback derived from the April 30th meeting to ensure the city continues to work with community transit and other partners, especially accompanying our other priorities in supporting work on State Route 522 and US 2. Going fast, under being friendly and responsive, we added evaluating parks and the police department staffing needs in 2026. That's in light of both the levy, potential levy, and the next biennial budget. And then also police facility improvements. These are upgrades that are needed for reaccreditation of the police department, and they include things like expanding the training room, locker, and break room. That's currently slated for 2027 through 2029. Under the next item, strengthening connections, we have explore opportunities to expand music in the park in 2025. This also derived from the April 30th meeting where there was some extensive discussion on keeping those events alive and seeing if there's ways that we can expand them and other event opportunities in the city of Monroe. So we added that under strengthen connections. And then under the last priority item, ensuring a safe place for all, we added evaluate regional information center participation. This is something under the police department and is currently slated for 2027. Adopting the WUI code, also known as the Wildland Urban Interface Code in 2025 and 2026. Automated traffic safety cameras, that includes the location analysis, implementation, and then later review phases. That's something council discussed in the summer of last year. That's slated from 2025 to 2028. And then the final item that was added was the police department reaccreditation from 2027 to 2028. So those were all the items that we added. I will just make a note before I hand it back to Mayor Pro Tem and Council that in order to ensure that the strategic plan is in line with the budget and biennial budget and current revenue forecast, the timeline of some of the projects that we presented on April 30th may have shifted slightly. And I just want to make sure that council is aware that some items are not exactly identical to the same timeline that we presented on April 30th, but they should still be present there already. As a reminder, the budget is already adopted. So once again, this meeting is just to ensure consistency between the two documents. The total final draft plan and strategic priorities are both included in your packets for consideration. So with that, I will hand it back over to the Mayor Pro Tem.
All right, thank you. Are there any questions for Mr. McCorkle? That was a mouthful, so I hope you all got that. And is there a motion to approve the first motion under this item? Councilmember Walker.
Move to adopt the 2025 to 2029 strategic priorities.
All right, there is a motion made by Councilmember Walker, seconded by Councilmember Beaumont to adopt the 2025 to 2029 strategic priorities. Any discussion on the item? All right, seeing no discussion, all of those in favor say aye. Aye. And any opposed, say no. All right, the motion passes 6-0. And is there a motion to approve the second motion for this item? Councilmember Walker?
I'd like to make a motion to adopt the 2025 to 2029 five-year strategic plan.
All right, makes it easy. A motion has been made by Councilmember Walker and seconded again by Councilmember Beaumont to adopt the 2025 to 2029 five-year strategic plan. Any discussion on the item? All right, seeing no discussion, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Nope, there's none left of us. All right, the motion passes 6-0. Okay, next item, yes, thank you, Liam. Next item on the agenda is the council member reports, and now is the council members' opportunity to provide a little update on their, it's been, 4 weeks since we've been together, so I'm going to start at the end. Council member Hanford.
Hi, my name is Kevin Hanford.
Hi, Kevin.
In case some of you forgot, I had a wonderful Christmas break, New Year's, and all that, and excited, ready to hit 2025 strong, and excited to work with all of you. So let's go.
All right, thank you, Councilmember Hanford. Councilmember Fisher.
I am also Kevin Hanford.
Well, the real Kevin Hanford, stand up.
Not. I wish I was lots of times. Nope, Christmas, New Year's, all that stuff was great. I have things in my brain of things that would be good to accomplish this year. Some of the stuff is like the no trespass stuff in our parks, having that be adjusted is one of the things that I have on my head for now. And then there's several others, but I'll just do a slow rollout instead of all of it tonight. So that's all I have.
Excellent, thank you so much. All right, Councilmember Walker.
Happy New Year. Since we last met, I attended the SCT Snohomish County Tomorrow General Assembly meeting with council members Kinney and Hanford, and that was cool. One of the questions that they had for the room was if anyone was interested in participating in an exploratory committee about the future of Snohomish County Tomorrow. I raised my hand. It looks like it has since been, the conversation has been expanded to different jurisdictions having an appointed member. So I wanted to see if you guys are still okay with me being that participating member. The point of the committee, it seems, would be to talk about the potential reorganization of Snohomish County Tomorrow or what its future should be entirely, so.
Somebody waved their hand, okay.
Cool, thank you very much. Yeah, thank you to the VFW of Monroe. They did a pancake breakfast this weekend. My boy thought the pancakes were really good. And yeah, chamber luncheon today was great. Thank you to city staff for their presentation.
All right, thank you, Councilmember Walker. So, council, is there any objection to having Councilmember Walker be our representative on the board as he described? I think you've got our okay, sir. So, do you need anything official from us on that, Jody? Okay, good. All right, thanks. All right, Councilmember Beaumont, what is your report?
Happy New Year, everyone. I am not Kyle Fisher, but I play him on TV. Okay, so I also am really happy to be back and see staff members and everyone. It's great to be back sitting in the chair and getting some things done this year. I'm excited to start 2025. We do have an upcoming event on January 22nd, and last year, the city had a wonderful team comprised of Director Bailey, Chief Jolly. A number of people came out for our Monroe Historical Society Trivia Night. So this is a fundraiser for our 501c3 nonprofit organization. It's at Route 2 Tap Room. Lots of fun, good food, good drink. And I have flyers I handed out to some of the council members. It starts at 6. There are 6 members on a team, and we challenge all of you to come out and support the Historical Society and have some fun. Be surprised how much you do know about Monroe history and maybe some things you don't know. So we also had a really good turnout for our holiday open house this year. So just a lot of good things going on with the Historical Society. We're trying to get that plaque project off the ground this year, get some of our historic buildings plaqued. And wanted to remind everyone that the Jamie Bindle Run to benefit Behind the Badge Foundation is coming up on January 26th. It's a Sunday. You can register at 9 o'clock at Sky River Park. You do not have to pre-register. You can show up and pay your fee and run, walk, bring your dogs, bring your strollers. Everyone's invited. It's a wonderful community event, and hope to see you all there. Thank you. Registration starts at 9, and I believe the race starts at 10. And it's a 5K, run, walk, lope, trot, skip.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Beaumont. Councilmember Scarborough.
Happy New Year, everybody. Good to be back, like everybody else says, and looking forward to interacting with our group and our city staff and getting things done. I had a great Christmas break. I had middle son from Southern California and his wife come up and spend a week. Got to spend some time with the grandkids. Much like everybody else, we just had a good time of probably relaxing and spending time with family. And then it's time to go back to work. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Wyckoff, I just realized, one moment. I just realized that I forgot to excuse Councilmember Gamble's absence, and he did let us know that he is gone tonight, so without any objection, we are calling him excused. So now I see that hand. Yes.
I forgot to talk about Public Works. Had a couple cool things. So there was a traffic light that was turned the wrong way, was reported and fixed almost instantly. I think it was like little traffic light fairies that came down and adjusted it. And the other Public Works thing was walking around the neighborhood, there was a smashed up water meter, concrete case, I guess you would call it. I'm not even sure. And the homeowner was very impressed that somebody came by, saw that it was smashed up and needed to be replaced without somebody contacting the city. So that's my little shout out to Jacob Roberts and Public Works. 2 of them. It's a good week.
Thank you. It is fun as a person who is associated with the city when we get to be proud of our city staff. So thank you guys for being number one. So I will go ahead and do my council member report now, or Mayor Pro Tem report, whatever we're going to call this. I was at a community transit board meeting right after the new year. Business going there as usual. I will be in another workshop with them this Thursday, in fact, and also with Councilmember Walker today. I was also at the chamber meeting, and good job, city presentation. And also, I got to say that our chamber director is pretty awesome too. So now, moving on to the staff department reports. First, we will start with the police department report with, Chief Jolly after we arrange some microphones for him and hit it.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem, Council. Good to be back here in 2025. It seems like it's been quite a while since I've seen everybody, and Happy New Year. I have before you and in your packet both the October and the November Police Department report. And if you have any questions, I'm available.
Okay, thank you, Chief Jelly. Are there any questions for the chief? I see that hand. Councilmember Walker.
I just wanted to point out that at least in November's report, the year-to-date sums for burglaries for every category were down in the last 3 years. They were at a 3-year low. So thank you, Chief, and thank you to Monroe PD for the great work you guys are doing. Really, it's paying off.
Very much appreciated. I think we met our target goal of 10% reduction in property crimes this year, and that's a big thanks to the Patrol Division and Deputy Chief.
Great, thank you, Chief Jelly. All right, next is the Parks Department. Mr. Farrell is not online, so we are, oh, he is on, oh, excellent, Mike. And we also have backup at the table if we need it with Mr. Swanson, so is. Okay, so Mike's just gonna watch while Ben does the work here, so, Mr. Swanson, you wanna take it away?
Perfect, thank you. Park report in your packet, information station, we've been slowly installing those over the past couple of years. We have the one down at Sky River that just got installed, and then also the crew's prepping the end cap, so you'll see a lot of work out there in anticipation of the daffodils, and then future when we start to do our plantings in conjunction with our good work with the school district, so they got their little buds going up there and getting things started. We did have a few encampments that we got cleared out. And so that went well, coordinated with the police department on that one. And then kind of an interesting one is, well, cleaning up the encampments. If you've never been down to Borland Park and see the old well sites down there, they almost look like little missile silos out there. Anyway, our crew came across those and the lids were loose. And if you open it up, it actually goes straight in the water. So they got those out there with the help of Public Works. They went ahead and welded those things up so they're all secured and sealed now. And then playground repair, you'll notice in your packet a picture of a slide that's been giving us grief for quite some time now. So we're going to bring in a contractor to help us out with that, because we're at a point where we can force it into place, but it's putting stress on one of the joints where we might just be buying ourselves a problem in 2 years because it breaks there. So it will be repaired, that and the tri-runner. Councilmember Walker, I know you asked about that before. In the past, we have a welder all scheduled up for that one too, so we should be taking care of that in February. And then we did finally get the Sky River bathrooms all fixed up after that major vandalism incident. So those are up and running. Worked with a really great contractor, turned out to be a local person out of Monroe, and took care of us and got everything wrapped up by the end of the year. And then you'll notice one thing in here about the bollards, how we're going in and GISing the locations of that. And so over 25, 26, you're going to hear me talk a lot about asset management. And so that's one thing that we're doing, is trying to identify what our inventory is and then how do we best maintain that. And so this is just kind of part of that overall bigger push for that. And finally, Light Up Monroe went over great. A lot of good people showed up. We had over 1,000 people according to our Placer AI data. We did notice some areas we could make some improvements around safety. And so next year in the park down there, we're going to put up a little temporary fence between Highway 2 and the actual kind of bowl of the park area, just for people running around.
Great, thank you. Are there any questions for Mr. Swanson? Yep, Ms. Beaumont.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. So Ben, I have a question for you. So with the old wells, which we know are part of the very first water system in the city, sometimes at the Historical Society Museum, we will get people asking about that they want to go see them. So is there anything that we need to be aware of, or anything from your end that we need to know about in terms of safety, or anything that, are they free to just go find them and explore in the park and find them? Okay.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
They're all buttoned up now. I mean, the last time I saw them was probably 8 years ago, and
Yeah.
You had to go up on top and purposely, and then apparently somebody had gotten up there and actually pried the lid loose. And so we noticed it, but that's it. It's basically got bars around it. You can't get inside there.
That's great. I was really happy to hear that. Thank you for doing that.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
we get a lot of questions about, not all the time, but sometimes people want to go out and explore and find those old wells.
They're fun.
Yeah, they really are cool.
Yeah,
So,
they are.
great. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Cool, blends into our history right there in our park. I love it. All right, so no more questions for Mr. Swanson. Thank you very much. All right, next we have our Public Works report, Mr. Roberts.
Excuse me. Good evening, everyone. How are you? Nice to see you all again. Public Works report is in your packet there. I just want to highlight, it's the annual customer service summary. So Trevor Orr obviously puts this together for us because he's kind of the voice of Public Works these days as it comes to fixing broken meter boxes and signals that are pointing the wrong direction. 960 requests came in this year. I just did the quick calc on working days. It's about 3.7 per day if you figure it out by working day. So it's actually pretty busy. Some of those can take weeks or months, unfortunately, occasionally years to resolve, and some of them can be resolved the day of. So we're definitely busy. Uptick in Monroe Listens, so people that are being kind of directed towards the Monroe Listens format so we can really log this stuff and track it better and just kind of start to identify trends and things like that. That's been really helpful, and I think social media has been a big part of that. We've done some kind of specific outreach on it. So next thing there, I got a picture of the top of Scott Barr's head. It's probably his most flattering, kind of view that he's ever gotten into a public sphere here. Leanne, please pass that along if you're still in the room. She left, bummer. So anyway, pressure reducing valves, those are actually really, really, really important. Some of the pressures we have in town outside of valves are around 180 PSI. So that'll pretty much ruin the plumbing in anyone's home if it's not managed properly. So where we have the big hills where all of our reservoirs are, the water comes down, it reaches a high pressure. We've got to lower that down before it goes into the houses and businesses and whatnot. So that's about a $20,000 a year cost savings for the city by having our very talented staff working on those. So a couple of kudos in there, and then also our on-call roster contracts that have gone out this year. That concludes my report. Mayor Pro Tem, I turn it back to you.
Thank you, Mr. Roberts. That was beautiful. Are there any questions for Mr. Roberts? Mr. Walker?
I just want to give a shout out to Mr. Orr. He seems to just be doing an amazing job. I think he takes a lot of pride in his work. I told my in-laws the other day how incredible the Monroe Listen system is, and I, to show them, submitted something and did it anonymously. Literally, I think Public Works was out there replacing a crush box from some work a contractor did a while back and cleaning out a storm ditch within, I want to say, a day. And they were like, oh, look at that. You did it with the city. I'm like, not at all. It's Monroe Listens. It's incredible. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you.
Oh, yeah, sure. You're going to rock the mic.
All right, next we have our administrative reports, the extended agenda. Ms. Knight?
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Happy New Year to everybody. I'm glad to be back and looking forward to finishing up the items that Liam was previously discussing around the strategic plan and strategic priorities. So we have a busy year planned and looking forward to working with everybody. For the extended agenda for our next meeting on the 21st, which is a study session, we've moved off to having one study session a month. For the new year, we don't have any items yet scheduled for that meeting, so I'll be asking council in just a moment to cancel that meeting. For the next item, I see there's two things. I'm sorry, Jody, I missed that. There's a finance committee meeting that's also being canceled along with the study session item. No business for that evening. For the P3 committee meeting, we do have the selection of a chair and approval of the 2025 work plan scheduled. So if you're on that P3 committee, you will have a meeting on the 28th. And then for the regular business meeting, we have a couple of items. We have a resolution and a public hearing for the 6-year transportation improvement plan with Scott Peterson. Under the consent agenda, we'll have the accounts payable meeting minutes. We have an interlocal agency agreement with the Arlington Municipal Airport. It's used by the police department for training. We have a concessionaires agreement coming forward from the Parks Department, contract with Azafar for our revenue audit, and then amendments to the ARC contract for the municipal campus. and then the regular department reports for that meeting.
All right, thank you. Does any council member have any questions about the extended agenda, or do you have any absences you need to report? Councilmember Hanford?
Thank you. Would you like us to make the motion to cancel the meeting at this time then?
That would be great, thank you.
Okay, I move to cancel the city council meeting for January 21st.
Okay. I heard a motion by Councilmember Hanford, and I also heard a very quiet one by a second by Councilmember Fisher. So any discussion? Okay. All in favor of canceling the council meeting on the 21st? And the committee meeting on the 21st as well. Okay. All in favor? Aye. All right, and I'm not even going to ask. That was the 6-1 passing to cancel the council meeting and the committee meeting on the 21st of January. Ms. Beaumont, do you have a question?
Actually need to report absences in February. I will not be at the meeting on February 4th or the 11th.
All right, thank you. We will make note of that. Yes. 6-0 was the passing of, I think that she got that. Yes, okay, thank you. Thank you for that help, though. Okay, so the next item on the agenda is the administrative report, which is also by Ms. Knight.
Thank you. Just a reminder that the legislative session started yesterday, and it is a 120-day session, and it is already very busy. There were numerous bills that were pre-filed, and we're already beginning to track those bills against our legislative priorities list. And you will be getting regular updates from Liam McCorkle, and the next update for you will be on the 28th. So we'll give a little bit of a summary, just kind of how things are unfolding, and then continue to keep you informed throughout the legislative session. The AWC Legislative Conference is scheduled for Tuesday, February 18th through the 20th. I know that all of council members, I think, are attending with the exception of Councilmember Gamble, so we have already, I believe, canceled that meeting for that week. Looking forward then into March, we've been working with our federal delegation and our representatives in Washington, D.C., and we are tentatively scheduling then our first trip to Washington, D.C. to meet with our federal delegation March 23rd through March 26th. There will be a second trip planned for those that can't attend in March or who don't want to go in March for the fall of the year as well. So I think originally council's intent was kind of to divide yourselves up into a group of 4 and a group of 3 and try and get out to Washington, D.C. twice in a year. We have a couple of requests in for funding. We're still waiting, of course, for the Congress to pass their fiscal year 25 budget, but that is intended to take place in March. So this trip in March is intended to align up with those discussions around budgets and budgeting at the federal level. So if you could contact Liam McCorkle if you're interested, and then we'll come back if necessary and talk about the 2 separate groups, one in the spring and one in the fall. Then the last item I have is just more cause for applause around our staff. Matt Donovan in our Parks Maintenance Division received his certification as an arborist. So that's very exciting for us. And then in addition, we had 2 additional staff members get their playground certifications due in our Parks Department. So there was a lot of staff development going on in Parks, particularly in 2024. And as I was kind of completing all of the reviews, performance evaluations, and then doing them for my direct reports as well, I'm just always amazed at the amount of work and accomplishments, our entire team has done over the last year. It's incredible when you look back over a year and kind of see all of that together. So at any rate, I just wanted to call those out because that was particularly important, and I know the department's been working on that for a while. And that's all I have for my report.
All right, thank you. Earlier, we talked about a need for a slide expert, and now here we have playground certified people. So way to go, City of Monroe. All right, so do any council members have any questions for Ms. Knight about that round up the administrative report? Okay, excellent. So there is no mayor's report this evening. Pro Tem is just saying, read your Monroe this week, which you already have, so there we go. We do have a need for an executive session tonight. So the city council will convene an executive session for the purpose of discussing potential litigation pursuant to RCW 42.30.1101 little I. I don't know what that is, for 5 minutes. And the regular meeting will reconvene after the executive session. There may be action taken, if only to just adjourn the meeting. So we are now moving into executive session. Thank you.
The executive session has been extended 5 minutes. The executive session has been extended 5 minutes. The executive session has been extended 2 minutes.
Council, now the sitting council meeting is reconvened. Thank you very much. There is no further business for tonight, so any objections to us calling it quits for the night? All right, without further ado, then I will call us adjourned. Thank you very much.